Right, so now Tech Mahindra has announced its Q3 numbers. Joining us is the management as well as our analyst Rajeshwari. Raji, take it away.
Thank you, Nandara. We're joined by the chairman and Sonjoy Anand, who is the CFO of the company. Vineet, I'm just going to break the norm and start with Sonjoy because there's a very niggling doubt that I need to ask. Sonjoy, have you recognized the refund on the top line? And if I remove that, how is the numbers looking right now?
So, I think you need to understand the transaction. What has happened is that we had a number of long-term contracts with BT. Those contracts, in line with the requirements of the customer, have been moved to a standardized rate card and simplified in terms of the way they operate. As part of that negotiation, there was a restructuring fee which was negotiated and agreed with us. The services from these contracts will be provided over a period of about 5 years, and therefore the amount which has been received by us as a restructuring fee is being amortized over that period, and that is the appropriate way in which it should be accounted and reflected.
Vineet, just this point that there seems to be so much of pain in the restructuring that we're doing with BT itself. How do you see it going forward? Because if I remove this, then the numbers are actually looking much lower than what we expected. There are also questions which are arising that for you to get 1,000 crore of refund, then you have given a very significant kind of pricing cut. Could you just elaborate a little bit on that?
What you're really saying is that there's a lot of pain. I would argue to the contrary. It is also a point of trust. It's a point of a much deeper relationship. BT had entered into certain contracts with us. The business paradigm changed. They say, yes, we recognize we have these contracts with you. We also recognize that you invested a fair amount of money on delivering these contracts. But our business needs are different now. As a responsive vendor, we said, fine, let's look at the contracts. We were not obliged to do so. We did that. And in fairness to the British Telecom, they recognized that, yes, there was a sacrifice, financial sacrifice on our part. So say, okay guys, we will give you this for restructuring and you will make these uniform contracts. There were certain projects we were supposed to do which were not being done because they didn't need it. So all these changes were taken into account, put into a pot, and in good understanding and with empathy for each other's needs, the restructuring was done. They gave us some money for restructuring, which is due, because whenever you have a contract and you change the contract, restructuring costs are always there. In fact, there are penalties. Here it was restructuring because we were going to continue doing the work for them. So net, I think it has worked to everyone's advantage. BT has got will be catered to in its new needs by us. We have been compensated for restructuring the contract, and we will continue to work with them. So I think it's a great relationship.
I know it's a great relationship, Vineet, but the niggling factor continues to remain that there are pricing discounts being given. From a financial point of view, analysts and markets would like to understand what was the quantum of the discount which was given. Sorry for keep asking you again.
Look, we can't, for obvious reasons, we can't talk about the rates we charge each of our clients. It's not fair on us, it's not fair on them. Therefore, that we are not going to discuss. The fact is that in case you think the discounts are truly deep, you'll see that in the next quarter results. So, it's not something which can be hidden or swept under the carpet. I am telling you, we are satisfied with this adjustment we have made. You have a look at the results next quarter and you'll find it out for yourselves.
But will volumes go up significantly from here that should make do with the kind of discounts that we've given?
I can't, these are commercial details. I don't want to get into it at this point of time. All I can tell you is that I see this as a huge testimony, this renegotiation of the contract which we have done, as a great testimony to the deep and good relationship we have and the trust we have between BT and us as vendors.
Sanjay, despite having a goodish kind of quarter, margins have come down from 25.6 to 23.6 on a quarter-on-quarter basis. And if, for reasons, I knock off the write back that you've done on the top line and look at it, then it's a very steepish kind of cut on the margins. How do you see margins stabilize in the coming quarters?
Yeah, so let me respond to this in two bits, okay. As far as the movement from 25.6 to 23.6 is concerned, two factors, the appreciation of the rupee and the fact that our utilization has dropped by 2%. Okay, these are largely the reasons for it. As you've seen, our headcount has gone up by 4,000 people, and that is reflected initially in the utilization because it takes time for us to put those people to use. As far as the restructuring fee is concerned, in my view, there is no question of taking it out because it is a part of that contract, and that is and the services are going to be provided over the period of the contract, and this amount is to be allocated over that period. So you have to look at our revenues including that.
Utilization seems to have come down on a quarter-on-quarter basis. That was one of the reasons why the margins have also gone down. Was there any volume growth because of flattish or decline in volumes? Was that the reason why utilizations went down this time?
No, if you look, in fact, on a sequential basis, if you look at our dollar revenues, they're up 7%. If you look at our rupee revenues, they're up 4%. Okay, so we've had volume growth, but we have taken on a substantial number of people in BPO for whom this is the transition period. They will, that work is going to start next quarter.
But your press release actually says that the number of employees is 26,515 compared to 30,404.
30,000 it is at the end of this quarter.
Okay, I've got it wrong. How are the hiring plans going forward?
Well, we hire and we recruit people as and when we need them in terms of lateral recruitments. In terms of, in addition to these 4 people we've taken, we've got commitments to take another 1,000 people in the current quarter, and we've got 1,500 offers out at the campuses for next year.
Vineet, just to ask you, Europe has seen a quarter-on-quarter decline, and North America has shown a growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Yeah. Could you just put both these trends together and tell which one will come out better than the other one?
Well, I mean, clearly as we see at this point of time, the maximum buoyancy is in Middle East and Asia. We were very pleasantly surprised by the movement upward in the US. Consequently, in US and in Middle East, our quarter-on-quarter sequential growth is about 16%.